The gun discharged. It was an accidental discharge. I was trying to take out the magazine and it went off. They was both in bed. I was in their room. Where was your wife? She was in her room. Those are the words, ladies and gentlemen, of that man seated right over there, Jermaine Bass. Those were the words he told those deputies when they arrived and found these children shot in the head. That was his explanation to them of why two children were shot in the head. Accident discharge. I was trying to take out the magazine and it went off. That was his explanation. What you will not hear from him are any questions about how is his daughter doing? How is his son doing?
Objection. Improper argument.
Sustained.
You will never hear him say it was anyone else other than it was an accidental discharge while I was taking out the magazine. That's what you will hear. But the evidence will show you, ladies and gentlemen, this was no accidental discharge. 5 shots from that Glock. 4 hit their target. 3 of them went into the head of Jermaine Bass, his daughter, his 5-year-old daughter, as she lay in the bed right next to her brother, who was also shot in the head, in the temple. These were aimed, they were precise, they were targeted right to the most crucial part of the body, the head. 5 shots, 4 in the head. That's what the evidence is going to show you, ladies and gentlemen. But ladies and gentlemen, you will hear some evidence. You will hear some evidence that something was not right in the Bass household. Something was not going right there. Because, ladies and gentlemen, the evidence is going to show you that this house involved Jermaine Bass, who lived there with his wife, Shirley Bass, and their daughter, Jayla, and the son, Jermaine, as well. And it might get a little confusing, ladies and gentlemen, so I'm going to probably call the son JJ. That's kind of the nickname they gave him, because both the son and father are both named Jermaine Bass, and there's no like junior or anything like that. So if you hear me from time to time use the word JJ, I'm referring to the son. So on this date, on August 29th of 2022, you're going to hear that Shirley Bass, the wife, went by herself to a birthday dinner for her sister. You're going to hear that that evening she left around 6 o'clock. She drove down, and where this happened is on Heritage Club. And I believe I told you about this during Bordire. This is an area up near USF. It's up near the Advent Hospital up there on Bruce B. Downs and Fletcher. Right kind of behind there, back in a little neighborhood there. And these are like townhomes that they lived in, okay? It's got an upstairs where the children's bedroom is, and there's a downstairs where it's kind of the kitchen and like a kind of a great room. And you're going to hear that she left at 6. In fact, you'll see video of her car, her white Mercedes, pulling out and heading towards Ruth's Chris Steakhouse down on West Shore. Okay, so she had to go all the way down Fletcher, get on 275, go all the way down to West Shore, if you all are familiar with the area, and then go to Ruth's Chris Steakhouse, where she was meeting the family for a celebration dinner for her sister. You're going to hear from some people who were at that dinner, and they will tell you Shirley was happy, everything seemed fine. Shirley goes there that night with her niece, China Gadsden, and you're going to hear from China Gadsden as well. All right? She's going to tell you that they were having a wonderful time. As Shirley went and they had dinner and everyone was getting along very well. Jermaine was not there. He was supposed to be home taking care of the kids. But he was not home taking care of the kids. The evidence is going to show that he left those kids, drove all the way to Ruth's Chris Steakhouse. Basically followed Shirley Bass. Why? We don't know, ladies and gentlemen. But he did. The phone records will conclusively show that he left. We also have video of his Nissan truck pulling out and leaving that residence, not long after Shirley leaves. You're going to hear from China that when they were driving away, as they were leaving Ruth's Chris, there was this truck behind her that was really driving aggressively and scaring her. She didn't know what was going on. It's tailgating her. So just as she's pulling onto the on-ramp to get on the interstate, this truck is right on her tail and she's scared. So she stops the car. This truck pulls around her and stops in front. And who gets out of that car? Jermaine Bass. Gets out of that car angry and goes up to the driver's door thinking that it would be his wife in the driver's seat, but it was China. So he looks at his wife and says, "Are you drunk?" He then goes back into his car and drives away. Don't know why that was, but it's clear, ladies and gentlemen, there was some problems going on in that household. There was evidence to show that there was something going on in that household. And Jermaine Bass, the defendant here, was not happy about it. So you're going to hear that they drive home. Shirley drops off China at her house, which she lived up in that same sort of area. And she goes home. And you're going to see video from an apartment complex. In this video is part of it shows the parking lot area in front of the residence where Shirley and Jermaine lived. And you're going to see the defendant pull in this big truck, park the truck, go inside. A few minutes later, you're going to see Shirley's car pull up. She's going to park the car, and then she goes in. Less than 8 minutes later, you're going to see Shirley Bass outside, looking for help, frantic. Shots had rang out. Just a few minutes from coming home from this dinner to celebrate her sister. Shots. Those are the shots that killed Jayla and seriously hurt JJ. You're going to see video of her out there walking around, looking for help. You're going to hear from one of her neighbors, Daquan Evans, who's going to tell you that he heard these shots. It woke him up. So he walks outside and he sees Shirley Bass. And he's on the phone calling 911 and letting them know, "I've heard shots in my neighborhood." And you're going to hear that 911 call. And you will hear Daquan Evans, and then you will hear Shirley get on that phone call. You're going to hear a woman who's frantic, hysterical. It's a very difficult, hard to understand conversation. But you're going to hear her screaming, "My family, you need to get down here. I need help." And she's on that phone with 911. Is the defendant calling 911? No, but you're going to hear evidence that he called another number. After shooting these children, he calls another number, doesn't even call 911. So Shirley's out there, and you're going to hear the whole 911 call. It'll go into evidence. You will have it back there to listen to when you go back and deliberate later in this trial. And you're going to hear that around the 2-minute mark, 2 minutes to 2:40, something changes in Shirley Bass. And based on the video you're going to see of her out there on the phone when she's talking to 911, and at one point she starts jumping. But you're going to see that the door opens up to the house of Shirley and Jermaine, and she walks over there. And right about that time, you're going to hear Shirley Bass on that phone screaming at somebody, "What the fuck is wrong with you?" She's yelling at that man right there, Jermaine Bass. It may not be clear if she knows what he's done, but she knows he's done something. And she screams, "What the fuck is wrong with you?" She says it a couple of times. You're going to get to see it. Because this body on camera, it's going to take you into the house. It's going to take you into the apartment. And you're going to see how they walk in there. You're going to see Jermaine Bass holding JJ. And JJ's got a bullet hole to his head. He's still coherent. He's still alive. And he's in pain because he's saying, ow, my head. And Jermaine's just holding him. And they ask him, is there anyone else here? He says, no. So these deputies are clearing the house. And they do what they do when they come into a house and they don't know the situation. They want to make sure they know where everyone is. So they go and check out the rooms, make sure they clear the rooms. And they're going to tell you all about that. That's when they go upstairs and they go into the child's room. And suddenly one of them notices it's a little girl. And you're going to hear her. You're going to hear the moment you notice her. And you're going to hear him go, sweetie. And you will see from the body-worn camera, the deputy reach over to take her off that bed. And he will tell you how he takes her off the bed and brings her down, and they try to administer life-saving support for her, but it's too late. But you will see her position. You will see her curled in that bed with blood all around her. This is what those deputies saw on that day. So they take her out. They take Jermaine away. The ambulance arrives and they get him out of there. And then you're going to see the defendant calmly telling him those things that I told you. I was unloading the magazine and it went off. So at this point they start to collect the physical evidence, and this is where you're going to see all the physical evidence that was collected in this case. You're going to see the shell casings, 5 shell casings that belong to a .380 Glock. All 5 shell casings were found on the bed, the bunk bed in the room. This is a bunk bed. 4 of the casings are found in the top bunk. 1 of the casings is found in the bottom bunk. So again, this is a crime scene. Children have been removed to hopefully save them. And now they are securing the crime scene and they're reviewing all the evidence. And this is what they find. They find damage hole to one of the walls where a bullet clearly went through. And you're going to see that it did go through, and it goes into the bathroom and the adjoining bathroom, and it goes through that bathroom and into the wall. And they were able to obtain that projectile. You're going to see pictures of the condition of the residents at that time. You're going to see pictures of a lot of blood. And I want to warn you that you will, okay? But it's important that you pay attention to those pictures and look at those pictures. You're going to hear from a DNA expert. The Glock is found exactly where the defendant said it would be, in the silver dresser, right next to his wallet. And that Glock is taken out. It's looked at. The magazine in it is now empty. There's no other ammunition in the Glock. And they take that Glock in, and it gets analyzed. The comparison is done with the shell casings, and yes, they match. Those shell casings found in the room were in fact fired from that firearm. And you're going to have the firearms expert who's going to testify to you and explain to you how they know that. You're also hear that the gun was swabbed. And what that means is they take like a solution or water and they rub it on the gun at different areas. It's combined, so we don't know if it's both or so. But on the grip/trigger, as well as on the base of the gun where the magazine is put in, they're able to obtain DNA. And the DNA does match, in fact, Jermaine Bass. But there's one other source of the DNA, and you're going to hear that it matches the son, JJ, the other Jermaine Bass. Now, I want you to listen to that expert, and she's going to testify to you, and she's also explain to you about transfer DNA and how that occurs. You're also going to hear, ladies and gentlemen, from a lady by the name of Anna Cox, who's what's called a blood spatter expert or blood stain expert. She's going to tell you and talk to you about those pictures and the blood analysis that she shows. What she will tell you is that both of these children were shot right next to each other. That their heads literally had to be almost touching. The last moments of Jayla's life was laying in that bed next to her big brother. An accidental discharge of 5 rounds. This isn't an automatic gun where you hold it down and it just fires repeatedly. You're going to hear from the firearms expert. Every single one of those 5 shots had to pull that trigger. Every single one. This was no accident, ladies and gentlemen. Not even close. This was a deliberate, intentional, premeditated act to kill those 2 children. Done by that man right there, Jermaine Bass. The state has no doubt, ladies and gentlemen, at the conclusion of the evidence in this case, that you will find the defendant guilty as charged of first-degree murder, guilty as charged of aggravated child abuse, 2 counts, and guilty as charged of attempted first-degree murder.
Jermaine Bass, my client, did not shoot his children. What happened on August 29, 2022 was tragic. And you're going to hear a lot of testimony about what happened on that day. And a lot we are not going to be in dispute about with the state. And when you hear the evidence, pay close attention to the timeline of the events. When Shirley calls 911 and you're going to hear that call, she is not asking for police. She's asking for an ambulance. She's asking for medical help repeatedly, and you will hear it for yourself. Mr. Terry stood up here and said that he wants you to believe that it's an accident, but pay attention to what Shirley says as well about what happened. The 911 operator is continuously asking her, who fired the gun? Did somebody drive by? And pay attention to what her answers are close in time to the events. About Jermaine on the highway with China Gadsden and Shirley Bass doesn't come to police attention until over a year after the incident. And then they made efforts to speak to him once he was released. You'll hear from Detective Gabbott that Shirley was uncooperative when they tried to interview her son. That they were not able to investigate her phone because she never turned it over to law enforcement for them to look at any kind of communications that were happening that night. Shirley does not call 911 from her phone. She goes across, and the phone that she is using to dial 911 is Mr. Evans' phone, an across the street neighbor. And you'll hear that the first time they set it up, Shirley came, but then refused to let the interview happen. Then they tried again that afternoon, and you'll hear that JJ was disruptive, that he refused, that he walked away, and he didn't talk to them. And when they do, he says that he does not remember what happened on that night. And that's where we're left. Listen with a critical ear. Use your discernment and your common sense in this case. In the end, you're going to have more questions in this case than answers. The state is going to try very hard, as you heard in opening statement, to try to convince you that my client shot his children that night. What they say is not evidence in the case or the true facts. The evidence comes from the witnesses, and you all were selected to determine what the true facts are in this case. What happened on that day is very tragic and sad, but my client did not shoot his children. You will understand why he said what he said to police. At the end of the case, after listening to all the evidence and the law, you will agree and find Jermaine Bass not guilty.
Good morning.
Good morning.
If you would please introduce yourself and spell your name for us.
I'm Rebecca McLeman, MACLEMAN, and I'm the 911 records custodian for Hillsborough County Sheriff's Office.
Okay, you know what area it's coming from? Like, is it coming from 137, 20?
Monday, August 29, 2022, 22:33 and 42 seconds.
911, do you need police, fire, or medical?
Hey, how you doing? It's a emergency. I heard some gunshots in my neighborhood.
Okay, let's see.
13915 American Heritage Club Drive, Hampton, Florida.
This is a house, mobile home, or apartment?
An apartment I heard outside.
Okay, how many shots did you hear?
I heard a couple, but a lady downstairs said something bad is happening. I don't know. I just heard gunshots. I did.
Okay, do you know what area it's coming from? Like, is it coming from 137, 42nd, any specific area?
No, just in the neighborhood.
Okay. How long ago did you hear
Just like 2 minutes ago.
them? Okay. Now, after you heard the shot, did you see or hear anything else suspicious? Somebody screaming, a car that set off really quickly, anything like that?
Oh, yeah, she right here right now.
Okay. Do you want to put her on the phone?
Want to get him home? Yeah.
Sheriff's office, can you tell me what happened? Okay, what happened? Yes, but I'm getting them on the phone, okay? What happened? Okay, hold on, ma'am. I can't understand a word you're saying because you're crying. Okay, ma'am, hold on. Take a PG breath. I can't understand you when you're crying like that. Take a PG breath. What happened?
Listen, I didn't need you for something, but I forgot to say, just please.
What happened? I have to call it. What happened? Did somebody get shot?
Someone shot my whole family.
Someone shot who?
Oh, family. Can you please just go? Can you please just go? Can you please just go?
Yes, ma'am. Take a PG breath. Ma'am, listen. Stop. Ma'am.
I can't.
Stop talking and breathe. Just stop talking and breathe.
Sir, do you not fucking understand?
Yes, I understand, ma'am. I can't understand you.
In this house.
Okay.
You guys, I do not know what fucking happened. Okay, I can't.
All right, I'm getting you on the phone. Ma'am. Ma'am. Ma'am, what's going on? Where's the gun? Ma'am. Hello, ma'am. Ma'am, stop yelling and talk to me. Who has a gun? Ma'am. Ma'am, the cops are already on the way. You need to answer my question. So who has a gun? Ma'am, stop yelling and talk to me. Who has a gun? Okay, where is he bleeding? Ma'am, the call's already in.
Now let me ask you, there's a pause right here. What is that?
She disconnected.
Okay. And then she calls back, or someone from that number calls back. Is that
Correct.
correct?
Number one, do you need police, fire, or medical? Hello? Hello, ma'am. Okay, I have deputies on the way. Where is he shot at? Okay. Okay, the ambulance and cops are on the way. Where is he shot?
Oh my God, in his head. It's a fucking car.
Okay, who shot him in the head?
Oh my God.
Who shot him in the head, ma'am? Okay, nobody, was it a car that drove by?
No.
Okay, is this somebody you know? Somebody from the house?
Yeah, we was in a house. We was in a fucking house, and I saw red.
Where did he go?
He was supposed to be in bed, but he wasn't asleep.
Okay, the person with the gun, where is he at right now? Tell me. Ma'am, I have every deputy on the way right now. I need to know where the person with the gun is.
You don't talk. Why your eyes all on me? What the fuck is wrong with y'all?
Ma'am. Ma'am, stop yelling. Ma'am, what's the house number that he's at? I have a call in. 139 what? What is it, 13915? Okay. Ma'am, I'm trying to get the guy who did this, and I need to know where he is with the gun. Ma'am, they're coming. The police and the ambulance are on the way. Okay, well, they're coming. They're coming. License, sirens, emergency. So where's the guy with the gun? Ma'am, where's the subject with the gun? I got 2 deputies on Brewski Downs right now, so I need to know where the guy with the gun is. They're both coming. The police need to secure the scene so the EMS people are safe. I need to know where the guy with the gun is. The police and the ambulance are on the way. Okay, well, they're coming. They're coming. License, sirens, emergency. So where's the guy with the gun? Ma'am, where's the subject with the gun? I got 2 deputies on Brewski Downs right now, so I need to know where the guy with the gun is. They're both coming. The police need to secure the scene so the EMS people are safe. I need to know where the guy with the gun is. Okay, the person with the gun, where is he?
And it cuts off there. Was that, who hung up there?
She did.
Okay.
I'm DeQuan Evans. First name D-A-Q-U-A-N. Last name E-V-A-N-S.
Thank you.
Good morning, Mr. Evans. If you could, where are you currently living?
I live in Ocala, Florida.
Back in 2022, in August of 2022, where were you living at that time?
I was staying off 13, well, I can't remember the name of it, but I was down here in school as a student athlete in some condominium apartments.
What school were you going to?
University of South Florida.
All right, and you were a student at, what were you playing?
Football.
All right. And what are you doing now?
I'm a mentor for Wake Up Mentoring based out of Orlando, Florida.
All right. Now going back to August 22nd August 29th of 2022, you were a student here at USF, and were you living in the Heritage Club apartments?
Yes, sir.
All right. On that particular night, did something happen?
Yes, sir.
All right. What do you recall? When do you recall the first time knowing something was going on?
And I heard like 4 or 5 shots.
All right. Where were you when you heard those shots?
In my house, in my room.
All right. And you described 4 or 5. Is that how many you thought you heard?
Yeah.
All right. What did you do upon hearing those shots?
Like, back at home, I'm used to hearing those type of things going on, so I just reacted and made sure I was good in the house and just really stayed there until I heard, something else from my Ring camera. And I just went downstairs and I ran into a lady.
How long after you heard these shots did you hear this or see this lady?
On my Ring camera, probably like the next 5 to 10 minutes.
All right. Could it have been quicker than that or longer than that? Do you know?
No, I don't know.
All right. What did you do upon seeing this lady?
I went downstairs and she asked for help, basically for me to call, the officers. She asked for the address.
Okay.
And that's what I did.
All right. And were you the person who called 911?
Yes, sir.
All right. And it was your phone she was on during that conversation?
Yes, sir.
All right. How did she appear to you?
Like, shocked. Like she lost her words a little bit.
All right. Now you mentioned a ring camera. So your building had a Ring camera at that point in time?
Yes, sir.
All right. I'm going to show you what's been marked as State's Exhibit number 7. Did you have a chance to look at this video?
Yes, sir.
All right. And this is a video, in fact, from your Ring camera on that night?
Yes, sir.
All right. And does this fairly and accurately depict kind of what happened in that moment when she was at your door?
Yes, sir.
All right. Judge moved up State's Exhibit number 7, admitted into evidence.
No objection.
It's admitted.
May I publish, Your Honor?
Yes.
915.
So that's all the Ring camera was able to record on that particular moment?
Yes, sir.
And that woman out there, that's the woman who you gave the phone to when you were talking to 911?
Yes, sir.
Right. Now, you said on the 911 call that the shots were about 2 minutes before you called 911. Would that be about right?
Yes, sir.
After hearing those shots, calling 911 and seeing that lady out there, did you do anything else?
I went back to sleep.
Okay. And did you eventually talk to officers or detectives in the case?
That I can remember, I know a detective came back to my house, I think a couple of days later, and she got the ring footage. That's
She
all.
got the ring footage from you?
Yeah.
All right.
Yes, ma'am.
Did anyone come to your door, or was she there at your door as you were walking out?
Just soon I opened it right there.
Okay. And the person that you saw that the state is describing as Shirley Williams, she wasn't someone that was known to you, right?
I don't know her at all.
Okay, so you didn't know that they lived across or anywhere that never had any contact with them?
No, ma'am.
And you end up being the one that first calls 911.
Yes.
And then as you're talking to the operator on 911, you end up handing the phone over to the female who came to your door.
That I can remember, yes.
Okay.
Deputy Rainey, R-A-N-N-E-Y.
You have a first name?
Scott.
Thank you.
I'm sorry, Mr. Chair. I'm just going to remove all objections as to this witness.
All right. Thank you. Same rulings.
Deputy, how are you currently employed?
At the District 1 office as a patrol deputy.
What did you believe you were responding to? What was the call about?
The call just went out as a shooting call, but it didn't give a lot of details. It didn't say, who was a victim or anything. It just said somebody was shot.
Describe to the jury what you saw as you were driving up to the scene, and as far as the outside of the apartment.
There wasn't a whole lot outside, just, a lot of cars because it's an apartment complex. When we were going towards the apartment, getting close to the door, there was a female outside, and then, we went past her and went on inside to the apartment.
What was the female saying? Anything? How was she behaving?
She was saying something. I wasn't close to her. There was another deputy, I believe it was Deputy Jones, was already talking to her when we got there, and we went around another way and went to the door.
All right. And did you in fact enter the scene?
Yes, sir.
What did you see when you went into the residence?
When I went in, you immediately went into like a kitchen area to the left. There was a TV on the left side and a couch on the right side, and there was a gentleman sitting there holding a juvenile in his arms.
All right. And what did you do at that point?
At that point, we went up to him to see what was going on, and you could see blood on the juvenile's head. So we were trying to figure out where the blood was coming on, figure out what was going on, and had my recruit go out and get a med bag and start, treating him.
Okay. And did you speak with this man?
Yes.
All right. And what did he tell you happened?
He told me that there was an accidental discharge and the gun went off and hit the child.
All right. Did you know about another child upstairs?
Not at that time, no.
Okay. When did you first hear about the other child upstairs?
When Deputy White came downstairs and said that there was another victim upstairs.
Had the defendant, Mr. Bass, ever said anything to you about this other victim upstairs?
No.
All right. Did you ever go upstairs?
At one point I did go upstairs. I got up to the top of the stairs. I was able to see that there was enough deputies up there treating the other child, so I went right back downstairs.
Were you wearing a body-worn camera on that day?
Yes.
Nobody else is in the house. Hey, can you two go help him? Get clear up here. Take him to the hospital. Alright, paramedics are coming right now. Oh, please, now. What happened? What happened? What happened? The gun is shot.
Okay. Somebody got a med bag. Get a med bag.
Please, hurry.
They're coming. 52 on EMS.
Hey, can you hear me? Please, hurry.
They're here. They're coming. Yeah, they already cleared upstairs. We cleared it upstairs.
It's okay. Don't move.
Not yet. Hang in there, buddy. Come on, hang in there. He said it was an accidental discharge.
Thank you.
46 station, number 1025, and the house is clear. Okay. On. Out 47, be advised, there's another gunshot victim upstairs. It's a juvenile female. Yes, 10-4. How did the accidental discharge happen? What happened?
It was going, I was...
From you or somebody else?
I was trying to take out the magazine and it went off.
Alright, we'll get it figured out. Just stay calm for now. What happened upstairs?
Nothing happened upstairs.
Hey, we still have to get a sense of yours. Make sure you check that bag out.
Got you. Is she breathing?
Where's the gun right now? Be honest. It's upstairs on the dresser. On top of it? On top of the dresser. Where it should be in the dresser. In that silver dresser. The middle in the master bedroom. Yes.
You gonna go check the one? Gotcha.
Okay. What's on upstairs?
Hey, what's upstairs?
It's worse upstairs.
Okay. Adult?
No, juvenile, female.
Okay. Take this one to the rescue. Two juvenile.
Stay right where you're at. Stand up for me real quick. I'm just gonna pat you down for weapons. Put your hands up on your head. Just put them on your head. On your head. There you go. Turn around for me. You got nothing on you right now.
He's got something on the side of the head and his head.
Left side of his head. Alright, have a seat. You're ready.
Hey, guys, get up there. You're coming down now. When you have 4-year-old. Where at?
So you're saying that whatever happened to him, is that your son?
Both of those are my kids.
Both of those are your kids. So it accidentally discharged and hit your son. What happened to your daughter upstairs?
The same thing. They was both in the bed.
They were both in the bed together?
Yes. I think our range, you know what?
You're saying both kids were in the bed together and you were in their
I
room?
was in there.
People upstairs?
Out 47, the father's saying that he shot both of them with one round accidentally. The gun went off. So nobody else was in this house, just you and them? Me, my wife. And your wife? Where was she at? She was in her room. She was in her room? Yeah.
Deputy, was Mr. Bass eventually taken into custody at that point?
Yes, sir.
All right.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And you originally asked what happened, and Mr. Bass indicated the gun discharges, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. A deputy is heard saying, "We got another one up here." Do you remember that?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So it sounds like it's pretty quickly on that you and other deputies determined that there is another victim upstairs, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. If Jerry's not here, we can talk about it. And you had, I believe, Deputy Rahman do that since he's in training.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And I had asked you in deposition what made you decide that point. And do you remember telling me, and is it your testimony today, that you were getting information that the house was clear and that you had determined or y'all knew there was a second victim? Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Once you knew that, you knew the house was clear, and you knew that there was a second victim, that's afterwards when you walk back in and you have conversation more specifically with Mr. Bass for a little bit of time, maybe 1 or 2, maybe 3 minutes, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And then at a later time, Deputy Rahman reads Miranda.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Now, let me ask you, when you had stepped out, you knew the house was clear, and you had said, we could hear it, the house is clear, house is fine, there's a second victim upstairs. Is it not true that Mr. Bass was not free to leave at that point?
You could look at it that way, yes.
Okay. And in fact, do you remember testifying in deposition to that?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. You remember being at the motion to suppress, where we all kind of agreed to the judge who had your deposition that you said when you had those two factors, you had not read Miranda and Mr. Bass was not free to leave, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Good morning, Deputy Rahman. Where are you currently employed?
I'm currently employed with the Hillsborough County Sheriff's Office, and I'm assigned to the Patrol Division, and I work in District 1.
29th of 2022, did you receive a call to respond to a scene out on Heritage Club Drive?
Yes, I did.
And did you recall what was it that you believed you were responding to at that time?
We were responding to a shooting call for service.
All right. And were you one of the first units on scene?
Yes, I was.
What did you do when you arrived?
Well, once we arrived, we coordinated with the other deputies that were on scene, and we made a tactical entry into the living room. And then what we observed once we got on scene, we observed a adult male, Jermaine Bass, the defendant, and he was holding his son, who was also named Jermaine Bass, on the couch in the living room.
Prior to going into the residence, when you pulled up, did you see anyone outside, or did you observe anyone outside?
Yes, I believe I saw it was the mother, Shirley. She was outside and she was screaming. She was just pretty much just screaming at the top of her lungs.
Okay. And could you tell really what she was saying?
Not exactly. I can't make out what she was saying, but she was screaming.
How would you describe her demeanor at that point?
Very frantic and scared, and just horrific is a good word to use for it. We observed what appeared to be a gunshot wound to the left side of his head, and immediately we just attempted to render medical aid. Me and my partner, Deputy Vanderbosch, we grabbed our agency-issued medical kit, and we began to wrap his head in gauze to try to put pressure on the wound and stop the bleeding.
Hey, can you really help him? Yeah, they're up here. Oh, please, now. The gun is somebody got a med bag. Get a med bag. Please, hurry. They're coming. Hey, can you hear me? They're here. They're coming. They're coming. Yeah. They're playing upstairs. We turned it downstairs. All right, y'all. It's okay. You're okay. Not yet.
What happened upstairs?
Said it was an accidental discharge.
Accident discharge. Even the one upstairs?
Yes.
Where's he at? Oh, we got a light on here. Oh, yeah. Thank you. All right. Okay, we got these bands right. Want to throw this on? Where's the firearm? In the room. In the room? In the master bedroom. In the master bedroom on the dresser. Okay. You packed those. Where's he at? Where's he at? I don't know where he's at. Here's the one. So he's got one in the head. Got one on the side, one in the head. Here. Let's see this. Yeah. Here.
It was going, I was trying to take out the magazine and went off. Alright, we'll get it figured out this time. What happened upstairs? Get enough of this ice. Nothing happened upstairs. There we go, outside. Alright, do you have those two pins? I got one. Alright. We got those pins. Oh, we got one. Okay, let's see if we can check him for more injuries. Not yet. Checking out the shark here. We got another victim upstairs. We got another. Still don't have a signature. Where's the gun? Right now, be honest. It's upstairs on the dresser. On top of it? Or in the dresser? On top of the dresser. Okay. Where it should be in the dresser, in that silver dresser. So the middle in the master bedroom, yes. Okay. He's got one here. Okay. What's the one upstairs? Hey, what's up? What's up? There's worse upstairs. Adult? No, juvenile, you know. Okay. Take this one to the rescue. No. Take juvenile. Stay right where you're at. He's got two little sides down, one in his head. That's all we saw. Yep, here. Coming down now. We have 4-year-old. Where at? So you're saying that whatever happened to him, is that your son? Both of those are my kids. Both of those are your kids. So it accidentally discharged and hit your son. What happened to your daughter upstairs? The same thing. There was both in the bed. It was just one round? Both in the bed together? Yes. I think I remember from the last. You're saying both kids were in the bed?
Once the scene was cleared and both juveniles were removed from the residence, my next task was scene safety and the security of the scene. I stood in the front doorwell just maintaining the crime scene until I was tasked to do a neighborhood survey with the adjacent building next to it.
And what is a neighborhood survey?
Neighborhood survey essentially is what it is deputies will go and they'll knock on other doors or people that were close to the incident, such as neighbors, just to see if they want to do an interview and see if they heard anything, saw anything, just to gather more information.
And after you did that neighborhood survey, did that conclude your involvement in the case?
Yes, that was my conclusion. That concludes my involvement in the case after that neighborhood survey.
And when you first entered, until you took over care, you and Deputy Vonderbosch of the son, JJ, blood was actually coming down from JJ down to Mr. Bass and onto the couch, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
I also heard Mr. Bass, he's saying, please now call the paramedics, please now. Do you remember that, sir?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And at some point we see a pat down. Is that pretty much just standard because a gun is involved in this case?
It was standard, yes, because the firearm wasn't involved and we had not located it at that time.
Good morning. My name is Deputy Jason White, JASONWHITE.
Thank you, Deputy. Deputy, how are you currently employed?
I'm a Hillsborough County Sheriff's Deputy.
And what was it, your belief that you were responding to at that time?
A shooting.
Okay. And were you one of the first units on the scene?
Yes.
All right. As you arrived at the scene, did you see anyone on the outside?
I saw a woman.
Okay, and describe to the jury what this woman was like.
She was frantic, and she was screaming towards the other deputy who I was with.
Okay. So you were riding with another deputy at that time?
There was another deputy who was in front of me.
Okay. So you all arrived kind of on the same time?
Yes.
And what deputy was that?
Deputy Jones.
All right. So who all enters into do you enter in the house?
Yes.
All right. Who all enters in the house with you?
Deputy Jones.
Okay. And going back to that woman, did you have any involvement with her out there?
She was just yelling at us, so.
Okay, but you didn't actually speak to her or have any conversations with her?
We didn't really interact with her.
All right. So when you went into the residence, what were you doing?
We were checking to see what was going on, for one.
Okay. What did you see when you went in there?
There was a adult male sitting on the couch, and then there was a little boy in his arms.
All right. Did you have your guns out?
Yes.
All right. And what did you do at that point?
We began clearing the house.
All right. Explain to the jury what it means when you say you're clearing the house.
So we have to clear a house. We have to confirm that there's not someone in there that's still armed, that is still a threat, that if we start to render aid, someone else might come out and try to injure someone else while we're still there.
Okay. And so where did you go to clear the house?
We went to the staircase to go upstairs.
All right. And who all went upstairs?
Deputy Jones and I.
All right. And where did you go when you went up there?
I went into the kids' bedroom.
All right. Where did Deputy Jones go?
He went into the master bedroom.
Describe for the jury, when you go in up the stairs, where is the kids' bedroom?
So when you go up the stairs, the kids' bedroom is directly in front of the staircase, and then you have a bathroom immediately to our left-hand side, and the master bedroom is behind us.
All right. What did you see when you went into the kids' bedroom?
I saw blood on the floors and in the walls, and then I saw a bunk bed on my left-hand side.
All right. And what did you do at that point?
I checked the room, and then I checked the bunk bed.
All right. And what did you see in the bunk bed?
On the top bunk, I found a little girl.
All right. And could you tell anything about the little girl?
She was laying on her side, facing towards me. She was laying in blood, and she had a bullet hole in the center of her forehead.
What did you do at that point?
I told the other deputies what I found, and I went to grab a med bag.
All right. And those are another deputy has already testified. Those are things you keep in all everyone has in their all the deputies have in their cars, correct?
Yes.
All right. And you do that because the paramedics weren't there yet, right?
Yes.
All right. So you go down and get the med bag. Do you go back up?
Yes.
And what do you do when you go back up?
When I go back up, we started putting pressure on the wounds that she had until the medics arrived.
All right. Were you wearing a body-worn camera on that day?
Yes.
All right. And I'm showing you what's already been introduced as State's Exhibit number 3. Is this, in fact, did you review that and see that?
Yes.
All right. And does this very inaccurately depict what you did when you first arrived on that scene?
Yes.
All right. Judge, I'm published.
All right.
Sheriff's office. How many people are inside? Anybody else in here? Is there anybody upstairs? No. Hey, can you two go help him? We'll clear up here. Sheriff's office, anyone upstairs? Alright, we're going in here. You guys trying to stay? Oh, what's going on? You see a fire? Sweetie! Hey, we got another one up here. Hey, we got another one up here. That's clear. Let me grab my med bag. Hey, see the fire still up there with her? She's still breathing. Start holding pressure. Let me grab my med.
All right, and what do you, at that time, is that when you go outside to get the med bag?
Yes.
And you actually brought it in?
Yes.
Okay. And you go back upstairs?
Yes.
All right. And at that point in time, had the paramedics arrived yet?
Not yet.
All right. Did they get there soon after?
Yes.
All right. After the paramedics arrived and took the little girl, what was your duties at that time? Or what was your position? What were you have to do?
Immediately after, I was just holding the scene upstairs.
Okay, what does that mean by holding the scene?
I'm standing up there, making sure no one who's not allowed to be in there comes up there.
All right. Did you, once you were cleared out of the house, did you have any other involvement in the case?
Yes.
And what was that?
I was instructed to drive the mother to the hospital.
All right. And the mother, is that the woman we see on that video right there?
Yes.
The one who was screaming at the very beginning of the video?
Yes.
All right. And which hospital did you drive her to?
Tampa General.
And what was her condition on the drive?
She was frantic.
Okay. Did she say anything to you while you were driving?
I'm gonna object here, sir.
I was stained.
All right. How was she when you got her to the hospital?
She
demeanor, like, is she still the same, or
she was still frantic. She was uncooperative with wanting to go in the hospital.
Okay. And she, when you say that, what do you mean by that?
She was scared to go in the hospital.
After getting her to the hospital, what did you do?
I left her with another deputy and then the hospital staff.
Okay. And was that everything that you did in this case, or did you ever go back to the scene?
No, I was ordered to go back to the scene.
All right. So after dropping her off at the hospital, at Tampa General Hospital in downtown, you drove all the way back up there to the scene?
Yes.
All right. And what did you do at that point when you got to the scene?
I was told I took the father from another deputy and placed him in the back seat of my truck.
Okay. And did you eventually transport him to the station?
I transported him to the district office.
To the district office. How was his demeanor on the entire time he was with you?
Calm.
Calm?
Yes, he was calm.
All right.
My name is Deputy Nathaniel Jones, Nathaniel Jones.
Thank you, Deputy. Deputy, how are you employed?
I am employed with the Hillsborough County Sheriff's Office.
What is your job at the Hillsborough County Sheriff's Office?
I am a law enforcement deputy.
Okay. But you knew you were responding to shots being fired?
Yes.
Okay. And were you one of the first units on the scene?
Correct.
When you pulled up, did you see anyone as you were walking up?
Yes.
What did you see?
I seen as I was driving up to the residence, I seen a male who was pointing in the direction of the residence, trying to guide me to the correct residence.
Okay. And then what did you see when you got to the residence?
Once I got to the residence, I seen a female exit the residence and approach me as I got out of my vehicle.
Okay. Did you have any involvement with her?
Yes. I had asked her, first she volunteered the information that her...
Objection, hearsay.
Judge, he's just arriving on scene. She's in,
Establish a predicate.
Yes. What was her demeanor at that time? What was her behavior like?
She was frantic.
Okay. And did she appear to be under an emotional stress of what had happened?
Correct.
Judge, I believe this would be considered an excited utterance.
All right. Go ahead.
Okay. And so as you approached her, what was going on?
She was telling me that her son had been shot.
Okay. And what did you do when she said that? What did you do?
I tried to get information as to who had shot her son, and if the person who had shot her son was still within the area.
Okay. And did she respond to you?
She was very frantic, but she just kept saying, "My son, my son, my son."
Okay. And did you go into the scene, into the apartment?
I did. I made that decision once I realized I wasn't gonna get any additional information to try and clear the scene.
All right. And were you one of the first ones into the apartment?
That is correct.
All right. And did you come with your guns drawn?
That is correct.
All right. What did you see when you went into the residence?
As I entered the front door of the residence, I seen a gentleman, adult male, and a juvenile male sitting on the living room couch.
Okay. Who all entered the residence with you at that time?
Deputy White and myself were the first two to enter the residence.
All right. After seeing that male holding his son, what did you do at that point?
I asked him if there was anyone else in the residence. I realized it was a two-story residence, so for safety of the deputies and everyone else, I asked if there was anyone else within the residence.
And what was his response?
He said no.
Okay. And then what did you do?
I then took the decision to clear the upstairs floor of that residence.
All right. And so where did you go at that point?
I walked up the stairs and I seen that there were multiple bedrooms within the second floor, and me and Deputy White cleared the 2 bedrooms on the second floor.
And which bedroom did you clear?
I cleared the master bedroom first, along with the bathroom that was on that side of the upstairs floor.
All right. After clearing the master bedroom, what did you do?
I walked back to Deputy White's position where he was positioned near the children's bedroom, and I entered the children's bedroom along with Deputy White.
All right, and what did you see in the children's bedroom?
I seen bunk beds, and on the top bunk bed, we located a victim.
All right, what was this victim? What does she look like?
The juvenile female victim.
Okay, so little girl.
Yes, sir.
And what was her condition that you saw when you first saw her?
When I first saw her, she was laying on her side, facing towards the inward of the bedroom, and she had what appeared to myself to be a gunshot wound to the head.
Were you wearing a body-worn camera on this day?
I was.
All right.
Who shot him?
It was the gun, it was the gun, it was the gun.
Did he shoot himself?
No, he did not. Hey, the gun went off. I mean, my son.
The ambulance is on the way.
Well, can you
Stay outside.
hurry up?
Stay outside. Sheriff's office. How many people are inside? Come in. Second, I'm gonna go around the corner. Is there anybody upstairs? Is there anybody upstairs? No. Hey, can you see where up here? We'll clear up here. I'm gonna hook around this corner, go out there. Sheriff's office, anyone upstairs? This is clear back here. You see a firearm? Sweetie! Oh. Hey, we got another one up here. What the? There's a child up here. Single zero gunshot wound. That's clear. Let me grab my med bag. Hey, see the fire still up there with her? She's still breathing. Start holding her until we go on med. Yeah, we're gonna get her down. She's breathing. Where's that? There's a shell right here. I don't see it as signal zero.
After that point, I pulled the victim closer towards the middle to the bed where I could, easily reach her. Once she was towards the middle of the bed, I physically picked her up.
You actually physically got her off of that bed and put her down on the floor to give aid to her, correct?
That is correct.
And did Deputy White actually come back with the med bag?
Yeah, Deputy White returned with his medical bag, and I used some of the gauze that was within his medical bag to apply pressure to some of her wounds that were on her head.
All right, and did ultimately the paramedics arrive and take her?
That is correct. Within the back of my patrol car, we conducted a pat down on him prior to putting him in the patrol car, and he was compliant with us.
Okay.
And I could hear somebody saying, come in to you. That's going to be Mr. Bass, correct?
Correct.
Okay. And you said that somebody waved you down, some sort of male is trying to help you get to the scene where you were supposed to be, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Right. And that's because you didn't even have an apartment number in the call, is that right?
To my knowledge, yes.
Okay. And you indicated about the female that you talked to. You tried to talk to her, but she wasn't very helpful to you, correct?
Correct.
Okay. And you asked her numerous times who shot your child, and she never answered that question, correct?
Correct.
Deputy Rainey directed you to read Miranda at the point that you did due to the fact that you had found another gunshot wound victim upstairs, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so you don't really know why. You just know at that particular moment he asked you to read Miranda and you did.
Yeah, yes, sir.
All right, no.
You did testify at deposition that you read Miranda because of that fact, that you had determined another victim, though, correct?
Yes, ma'am. If that's what the deposition says, yes, ma'am.
My name is Danielle Janicic, DANIELLE JANICIK.
Good afternoon, Ms. Janicic. Tell the jury where you work.
The Hillsborough County Sheriff's Office.
So on August 29th of 2022, do you get a call to be a crime scene investigator on the case we're here for today involving the defendant Jermaine Bass?
Yes.
On August 29th, or the morning of August 30th, when you arrived at the scene for this case, did you meet with a detective?
I did.
Who was that detective?
At the hospital, it was Detective Gibson.
So what hospital are we talking about?
Tampa General.
When you arrived at Tampa General Hospital, you meet with Detective Gibson. What do you do after you talk with Detective Gibson?
He requested that photos and evidence be collected of 2 individuals.
Who are the 2 individuals?
Jayla and Jermaine Bass, or creating a scene diagram.
In this case, when you went to the Heritage Club townhome, were you asked to create a crime scene diagram?
I was.
Explain to the jury, how do you make a crime scene diagram? And do you just look around and sketch it out? What's the process to make that?
So we use something called a Faro scanner, and the easiest way to describe it is if you're looking to rent an apartment or buy a home, sometimes they have 3D virtual tours. These scanners are something similar to that. So we create a 3D virtual tour of the scene, and from that I can create a 2D diagram that is computer generated. Marker of, I believe it was a suspected bullet hole.
Okay, and we see also the numbers, it looks like on the top bunk here, we see number 6, number 11, number 8, number 10, and number 9. What is that representative of?
Those are all evidence markers.
Number 5, we see with a line. Is that being attributed, number 5, to an evidence marker?
Yes.
And would that be on the top or the bottom bunk?
I believe it was the bottom bunk.
Okay.
Hello, my name is Shannon Bader, SHANNON, last name Bader, BADER.
Thank you.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Where do you work?
I work for the Hillsborough County Sheriff's Office as a crime scene investigator.
Tell us, when you first walk into the apartment or the townhome, is this what you see?
Yes.
What are we looking at in this photo?
So this is the living room area. The front door is behind me and the back door is in front of me. And this is, you could see evidence marker 1, and then on the floor should be green scale marker A.
So the cone of evidence marker 1 indicates to us that there was something physical next to it. What was physical next to it? Do you remember?
Yes, this was the ACE bandage clip.
Okay. Now on the floor, you told us that the green scale stickers represent red substance. Is that what's notated on the floor right here?
Yes.
Physical is next to evidence marker 2.
This is a blue cell phone.
3 in this photo. What do you see on those green stickers, and what was the purpose of placing them there?
These are more areas of red substances as you're walking up the stairs on the wall. That should be green scale C, and then D and E up there.
We see a green marker on the left. Was that to document and mark a red substance as well?
Yes.
I'm placing on the Elmo 22G. At this point, is this as if you had walked up to the very top of the stairs and you're looking ahead?
Yes.
Now, we can see a yellow evidence marker 3 in this view. Tell the jury what is immediately to the right of the physical evidence marker 3.
This is a gauze pad.
I'm placing 22H on the Elmo. Is this just a closer up view of that gauze pad?
Yes. There was an area of red substance there.
Now, on the other side, the green area that we just looked at, that's not the side that the door is connected to, correct?
Correct.
So the area where I'm pointing on the right side of the photo, where immediately to the right of that, it looks like there's like an open closet right there. That's where the door is attached to, correct? So it opens up inward.
Yes.
Now, on 22J, which I'm placing on the Elmo, is this the same doorway that we're looking at, but we're looking at the actual side of the door?
Yes.
And I see an evidence marker in the middle. It's green. Tell us what that represents.
The red substance on the door.
Now we're zooming in. Tell the jury and explain for the record. Everything's written down. What color's the door?
White.
So the spots that we're seeing in this photo, is that the red substance that you deemed should be marked with that green marker?
Yes.
What color is the pillow?
White.
And we can see that there is a red substance on the pillow. Is that why you chose to place that evidence marker there?
Yes.
See that I'm pointing to right now.
That is another red substance on the floor.
Identifying.
This is marking the red cell phone that's on the ground.
22N I'm placing on the Elmo. Tell the jury what the purpose of the green sticker is.
This is marking the red substance on the ground.
A closer up of the evidence marker you were just discussing.
Yes.
And once we zoom in, what do we see inside of this baby doll accessory here?
That is a piece of a gun holster.
A piece of a gun holster. We're looking at 22R. Tell us what we're looking at in 22R.
This is the top bunk where you could now see a green scale marker. You can kind of still see the one in the corner. 2 areas of damage marked, and then yellow evidence marker 6.
I think this is the first time that we see the yellow markers. So you said the yellow stickers represent damage. So, for instance, we see damage A. What does that look like to you? Is that in the drywall?
Yes, that's the hole in the wall.
So we see, I'm zooming in for the record on damage. I just zoomed in on damage A. Now I'm zooming in on damage B. What are we looking at in damage B right here?
That's damage on one of the bed posts on the top bunk.
And then we see another green sticker right above the bed frame on the far left. What is that indicating?
That is marking a red substance on that wall.
So on that wall, tell us what color's the wall?
White.
Any of the spotting that we're seeing right there, is that what you deem to be red substance?
Yes.
Oops, wrong thing, I'm sorry. Now we see on the right side of this picture a physical yellow evidence marker number 6. Tell the jury what the physical evidence marker number 6 is representing.
That is representing a casing.
22 difference is we see a marker on the mattress. Tell us what the marker on the mattress indicates.
That is showing the red substance on the mattress.
We're seeing on 22T, tell us what we see.
These are 2 red substances on the wall, and this is a view from the bottom bunk.
So,
substance on the wall, and then next red sub are also a red substance, both consistent with blood.
now we just talked about you. So let's go to V. This gives us a better view of evidence marker 6 that we talked about before. What are we looking at that's immediately to the right of evidence marker 6?
This is the casing on the bed.
Is this the top bunk or the bottom bunk?
The top bunk.
And are these the same damage marks, A and B, that you pointed to before, and red substance marks that we've seen in other photos?
Yes.
So I'm looking at 22BB I'm placing on the Elmo. Damage A1, is that on the wall that we just looked at in the bathroom?
Yes.
Damage A2 in 22CC, is that the damage to the shower curtain that you were just talking about?
Yes.
And where it was located?
That's damage A3, and it's in the shower on the wall.
We're looking at 22EE I'm placing on the Elmo. Is that the same damage you just described?
Yes.
What's located within the damage that we see on this photo?
That would be a projectile.
22FF I'm placing on the Elmo. So we just left the bathroom. We're not in the bathroom anymore. Where are we right now looking at the damage that is depicted in this photo?
This is the top bunk railing. So now I'm standing inside that bathroom that is next to the child's bedroom, and we're looking at the wall that is shared with the child's bedroom.
Is this the same bathroom that just showed the damage that was to the shower curtain and the projectile that was found in the shower tile that we just looked at?
Yes.
Same room.
Yes.
We're looking at 22HH. We see damage B2. Again, is that the same bathroom that we've been discussing?
Yes. Stairs start.
When we're looking at this bottom bunk, we see what looks like a pink and purple blanket. Behind that, we see kind of a big lump back there. Is that the teddy bear you were talking about earlier?
Yes.
We see an evidence marker number 5. What is that significant?
That is another casing on the bed on the bottom bunk. These are marking 3 more casings.
Now, this photo, is this of the top bunk or is this the bottom bunk?
The top bunk.
22LL. Is this a close-up? We're looking at 8 right here with a casing right next to it. Is this just a close-up of the casing located next to that
Yes.
marker? 11.
Evidence marker 11 is showing the bedding on the top bunk.
We're looking at 22SS. I'm placing on the Elmo. Help us get oriented. We've been into the bathroom, we've been into the children's bedroom, we've been downstairs. Where are we now in 22SS?
So now we were in the master bedroom.
22TT, I'm placing on the Elmo. Is this the same master bedroom?
Yes.
Help us understand the vantage point. I see in the middle, I see what looks like an open door right to the right of the silver dresser depicted in this photo. Is that the door that you would use to enter and exit this master bedroom?
Yes.
22UU, I'm placing on the Elmo. Help us understand what we're looking at here.
This is the dresser in that master bedroom, and there is a live round next to evidence marker 12.
Help us understand what they are attributed to.
This is that drawer in that dresser that we just looked at, and 13 is a wallet, and 14 is a gun.
So let's go back to, this is 22TT. In the back, we see evidence markers 13 and 14 and a drawer to the top left that's open. Is that what we're looking at, just like a top aerial view here in 22WW?
Yes.
13 attributed to a wallet, and then 14 attributed to the item that we see right here, which looks like the top of a handgun. Is that correct?
Yes.
On the Elmo, is this the same firearm?
Yes.
Facing the other way. The jury, where are we when we find evidence marker 15?
This is next to that dresser, and it is a phone inside of a backpack.
So is that your hand?
Yes.
What are you holding in your hand in 22CCC?
A projectile.
A projectile. Where was this projectile found?
In the wall of the bathroom, sharing that wall that shares the child's bedroom.
So
this is the top bunk mattress after we cut it open. That is that projectile.
So this projectile was found in the mattress that was located on the top of the bed.
Yes. That is marking that Adidas bag.
When you first initially walked into the master bedroom, was that Adidas bag sitting on the bed, or was it located elsewhere first?
It was located elsewhere.
Where was it located?
In the master closet.
What was the purpose of taking it down from the master closet and onto this bed to photograph it?
This was after the detectives had done their search and it had found that it was of evidentiary value. So then I took the photograph of it.
Okay, so 22JJJ. What are we looking at in here? What is this the contents of?
This is the contents of that bag at evidence marker 17.
So the same bag that we see in 22III, are you saying that this is the contents of that same bag in 22JJJ?
Yes.
Now, we're looking at 22LLL, placing it on the Elmo. Oops. It looks like a hand is holding some sort of measuring device. Help us understand, why are there times that you use a measuring device, like a ruler in this case, to show the height of something?
This is showing the height of the damage to show how high it is off the ground.
In this photo, we see an evidence tag to the left that's labeled damage A1. Right above that, we see something poking out of the damage that we've seen before. we've never seen something that thus far in all of these photos poking out of the damage. Help the jury understand what's poking out of damage A1.
That is called a trajectory rod.
What's the purpose of using trajectory rods when you are documenting a crime scene?
A trajectory rod is used to show a possible flight of path through 2 areas of damage or more.
So for instance, if you have a crime scene where it looks like you have what some may call a through and through, is a rod helpful in that situation to document the trajectory to show in fact if it was a through and through?
Yes, it is.
Okay, so we see damage A1 that there's a rod there. We're looking at, also for the record, would you agree with me that the damage A1 is just about 5 feet 6 inches high?
Yes.
So now we're looking at 22 MMM. Oh, I guess it would be helpful to just make sure that 22 LLL, this damage A1, what room are we located in?
This is the bathroom on that same wall that shares the child's bedroom.
Is using a trajectory rod in a situation such as this one, where the damage depicted shows it could potentially all be caused by one projectile.
Yes. This is a bag, and on top of it is a holster, a box of ammunition, and a magazine.
Was that bag located right here when it was photographed?
No, it was not.
Where was it located before it was photographed?
That was in the children's bedroom closet.
Room is evidence marker 18 found in.
The master bedroom.
So the drawer that we saw before, is this the same drawer?
Yes.
So help us understand, you didn't see these items before because of why?
There was clothing on top of it.
Once you removed the clothing, you were able to see these, and that's why you placed this evidence marker there?
Yes.
Tell us what exactly is depicted in this photo.
In this photo, there are loose live rounds at the bottom of this drawer.
And so it looks like in this photo, in the top middle, it looks like a computer mouse with some wiring, is that correct?
Yes.
Then we see to the right of that, we see a zippered pouch right here. And next to that, it looks like another sort of pouch.
Yes.
We see below that, looks like some plastic, or one plastic container of sorts. Is that right?
Oh, yes.
It's a plastic bag?
Yes.
What's to the left of the plastic bag?
That is a magazine.
Magazine. What's to the left of the magazine?
Ammunition box.
What's to the left of that?
Batteries.
Now we're going on what would look like the third row. We see a box of metal objects that have a point to it. What are those?
Those are also an ammunition box.
What's inside of the ammunition box?
Live rounds.
To the right of that, we see what looks like a rectangle of something. Where are those?
Live rounds as well.
To the right of that, we see another rectangle. And for the record, the one to the left that she just described was more, what color would you call that, silver?
Yes.
The one to the right, what color would you say those were?
More gold.
And what are those gold things?
Also live rounds.
Now next to those gold live rounds, we see 3 items next to each other. They look similar, but they're different lengths. Tell the jury what they are.
They are magazines.
Magazines for what?
A gun.
We look next to that and we see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 boxes. What are those?
Those are ammunition boxes.
Later, do you open up those ammunition boxes and photograph the contents inside of those other 7 ammunition boxes?
Yes.
Below that, that looks like a cell phone, is that correct?
Yes.
What's to the left of that? It looks like something on its side, I can't tell.
I think that is a magazine as well.
Okay, and to the left of that, we see 1, 2, 3, 4 items on the bottom of the page. What are those?
Casings.
Casings. There's 1 silver item above that. What is that?
Also a casing.
There's 1, what color would you call that? A gold item above that? It looks like actually there's 3 of them. What are those?
Also casings.
To the left of that, we see an orange item that is like a U in nature that looks like it has 2 little silver keys on it. What is that?
A lock of some sort.
Above that, what are we looking at right here?
I'm not sure what that is.
Okay. And to the left of that on the far left let me exit all the way. 22 DDDD. Is this a closer up view of the contents of those boxes we just discussed?
Yes, it is.
And remind me again, what are those?
Live rounds.
22 E, 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 E. We see that circle item that has something coming out of the top. What are we looking at there?
These are the live rounds that came from that circular device.
So when you photographed the circular device the first time, we didn't see those silver items up top. Did those come from within that
Yes.
circular item?
Yes, they did.
Down on the lower right portion as well, this red substance here, was that swabbed to determine whose blood that was?
No.
Okay. Same photograph over here on the back ledge of the bunk bed, which is gray up against the wall. We have an area right here. I am circling that. It is on the top ledge, just above, say, the right side of the comforter. Is that fair?
Yes.
All right. Did you swab that to determine whose blood that was?
No.
Okay. Now, did you collect that purse?
The purse, no.
Why?
I was not instructed to do so.
Nobody told you to collect it.
Correct.
So you don't know whose purse that even is.
Correct.
Now, there were some items inside that, however, you did collect.
Correct. This is the holster, there's a magazine, and a box of ammunition.
Okay. Now, that ammunition that we see here, just in case you need to refresh yourself, I have zoomed in on the state's exhibit. Please tell the jury what box of ammunition, what caliber you view from that purse.
Norma 380 Auto.
Okay. And go ahead and tell us, Miss Bader, if you don't mind, what are these other two items? One looking a little gold and one black. What are these?
A magazine and a holster.
Oh, the magazine and the holster in evidence marker 19.
Yes.
Okay, but not the purse.
Correct.
Okay. Did you look inside the purse, inside the pockets to determine whose purse it was?
That was not my job.
Understood.
Not know that.
Okay. Would that involve anything in which you were processing?
No.
Okay. Now, we have two adults that live in that house and share that master bedroom. Can you tell us all of these items that are not .380 caliber, that you collected from the master bedroom? Do they belong to Mr. Bass, Mrs. Bass? Do we know?
I couldn't tell you.
Okay. Firearm that you located, the .380 caliber, or Glock 42, inside the drawer of the master bedroom. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Are you able to lift any prints?
Yes.
Or take photographs?
Photographs, yes.
Okay. Do you know any results?
I do not.
And you do not handle that, correct?
Correct.
All right. Now that Glock 42, which is a .380 caliber, you did swab it for potentially DNA.
I did.
Did you note any red substance at all on it anywhere?
Not that I can recall.